students, welcome to class. Okay, today is our next topic, that is periods and groups. Okay, so we are studying periodic table. Okay, in first session I told you about the scientist, okay, who gave their own theories about periodic table. Now, according to modern periodic table, the periodic table which are studying, which we are studying at present time, that is modern periodic table. Okay. So according to it, there are some periods and groups in which the elements are arranged. Okay. So now, see, there are total 7 periods we have. Okay. We have total 7 periods. As you know, the periodic table is arranged in such a way, in this kind of chart, in which there are some rows and some columns like this. Okay. So elements here, so these are the periods. Okay, there are total 7 periods, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 like this, and there are total 18 groups. Okay, from here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 like this and so on. There are 18 groups. Okay, 18 groups. Groups lies from up to down, and the periods are the horizontal lines from left to right. Okay, and groups are the vertical lines from upward to downward. Okay, so there are total 7 periods. In first period there is only hydrogen and helium. Okay, there are only 2 elements. Then periodic 2 having from lithium to neon. In period 3 there are elements from sodium to argon. Period 4 potassium to krypton. Period 5 rubidium to xenon, and period 6 there is cesium to radon, and period 7 is francium to oganesson. Okay, last there is oganesson. So these are the elements in the periods. Okay, in the periods in the horizontal line of the periodic table. Okay, now come to groups. There are 18 groups. Okay. The group starts from first group, second group. So the first and second group are called S block elements. Okay, S block elements, and the first group is called alkali metals. Okay, alkali metals. The second group is called alkaline earth metals. Okay, from 3rd to 12th, these all are transition elements. From 3rd to group 12th are called transition elements. Okay. Then after that, group 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, they all lies in P block. Okay, this part transition elements is called D block elements. Okay, they lies in D block. Okay, last there is P block from 13 to 18. Okay, so 13th group is called boron family, 14th called carbon family, 15th is nitrogen family, 16th group is oxygen family, 17th is halogens, you know, chlorine, bromine, iodine, all these, and last 18th group is the noble gases group. Okay, so there are mostly all these are mostly non-metals or the metalloids. Metalloids means the elements which neither they are metals nor non-metals. Okay, they possess the property of both metals as well as non-metals. Okay, so and at last group, 18th group is noble gases. It's gas group. Okay, they are non-metals and metals. They are gases, but the specific thing about these is they are inert in nature. Okay, inert means they are unreactive. They do not react with anyone because their electronic configuration is completely stable. Okay, they do not need any single electron from anyone. They are already stable, so they do not react with anyone. Okay, there is one more part. If you have seen your periodic table in your book, in complete periodic table, after there is a 2 lines, another is given. First one is called lengthenite series and second one is called actinide series. Okay, so they both are the part of period 6th and 7th. Okay, period 6th and 7th. In among the period 6 from 58 to 17, one element, they all lie in lengthenite series, and in period 7 this francium to organism. Actinide series starts from 19 to 103. Okay, they are called inner transition elements. Inner transition elements. Okay, so this was the basic brief about elements. Okay, in the periodic table, how they lie at their positions. Okay, if we talk about first group, first A. Okay, alkali metals. See, alkali metals, they all elements in this are all are metals. Okay, metals from lithium to francium, they all are metals. Okay, they are light metals and they have the valency of 1. They have +1 valency. That's why they are reactive also. And one more thing about them, they are reactive, they are univalent, and they are electropositive. Electropositive means they have tendency to lose electrons. Okay, why? Because they have an extra electron in their shell. They have an extra electron. For example, okay, this much part we have done. For example, if you have sodium, Na, sodium or lithium. Okay, so hydrogen, helium, lithium having 3 atomic number. If we go through its electronic configuration, it will be 2, 1. So this is nucleus. This is first cell, that is K shell. Second one is L shell. So there is 2 electron here and 1 electron here. So 3 electrons having lithium having 3 electrons. So this one is the extra electron. Extra electron means to get stabilized, lithium cannot take more 7 electrons. Okay, lithium cannot gain 7 electrons to complete this shell. Every shell must have 8 electrons. Okay, you know if you know this octet rule. Octet rule is duplet rule and octet rule. Duplet rule said that the most inner shell must having 2 electrons, and after that other should have 8 electrons at least. Okay, they must have 8 electrons, then their octet will be complete. So to complete its octet, lithium have to gain 7 electrons, but it's not possible. So it's easy to leave this electron. Okay, it's very easy to gain to leave this electron, and this shell will be finished. Shell will be vanished. After that, there is one shell only, and which is completely stable. So it will become stable. That's why their valency is +1. That means they donate 1 electron. For example, sodium. The atomic number of sodium is 11. So its electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 8, 1. Okay, sorry, 2, 8 and 1. 2, 8, 10 and 1, 11. So you see, 2 here is duplet complete. Another one having 8 electron, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 complete. And the KLM, M shell having only 1 electron. So if sodium wants to get stabilized, if it wants to complete its octet, so what it have to do is, sodium cannot gain 7 electrons. It's not possible for it. Okay, but 1 electron, it can lose its 1 electron. Okay, so then if it will give its 1 electrons, that's why sodium becomes Na positive. Okay, that's why it becomes cation. Okay, so it will lose its electron and will become stabilized at 2, 8. Okay, so that's why they are called electropositive elements, which having tendency to lose the electrons. Okay, that is called electropositive. Next, there is alkaline group 2. Group 2 elements are called alkaline earth metals. So from beryllium to radium, they all are called alkaline earth metal. So they are similarly exactly same like first group, but they are divalent. That means they have tendency to lose their 2 electrons. Okay. For example, you having magnesium. Okay, magnesium having 12 atomic number. So its electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 2. So magnesium, if it wants to get stabilized, it having 2 electrons, here it having 8 electrons, it have 2 electrons. So it's again not possible to gain 6 electrons. Rather than this, it prefers to lose the 2 electrons. That's why when it gives 2 electrons, magnesium get 2 valency, Mg positive, 2 positive. That's why we call it Mg, 2 positive. So the metals having the tendency to lose the electrons, okay, to lose the electrons. So this much is done. Next there is group 3 to group 12, okay. They are called transition elements. Group 3 to group 12, they lies in center of the periodic table, in this part, okay. And they all are metals. They all are metals like zinc, iron, copper, molybdenum. These all lies, manganese. These all lies in this group, in this transition element. Okay. Okay. Next there is the actinide and the lanthanide series also lie just below these transition elements. That's why they are called inner transition, means below the transition elements. That's why they are called inner transition elements. Okay. Okay. Next there is group 13 to group 16. Group 13 to group 16 lies at the T block part. So they are called post transition elements, means after transition elements. That's why they are called post transition elements. Okay. They all are weak metals or metalloids. Metalloids, that means which are not metals or non-metals. Okay. So or they may be weak metals. Okay. Next, group 17. Group 17s are halogens. Okay, halogens. The chlorine, bromine, iodine, fluorine. These all are halogens, and they are also univalent. They are very, very highly reactive, and they are non-conductors of electricity. They all are non-metals. Group 17 is completely non-metals. Okay. Non-metals have the tendency is they are electronegative. Electronegative, just opposite to electropositive. But I said electropositive elements are those which lose electrons. So and then just towards opposite, electronegative elements will be those which gain electrons. Okay. So all these like chlorine, fluorine, iodine, bromine, they all lack only 1 electron. For example, chlorine having 17, so its atomic number is 17. So its electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 8 and 7. See, 10, 2, 8, 10 and 7. Okay, so for chlorine to get stabilized, it will take 1 electron. Okay, it will not lose all electrons to vanish the shell, but it will take only 1 electron, and 1 electron it will gain, then it will become 288, and the octet will be complete. Okay, so it will get stable. Okay, so all halogens are electronegative in nature. Okay, after that there is noble gases. Group 18. Group 18 noble gases, helium 2, last radon. Okay, so see, they are unreactive. They do not react with anyone. They are inert in nature. Why? Because noble gases have complete octet. They are the electronic configuration is complete. Okay, they are completely stabilized, so they do not react with anyone, any element. So group 18 is completely gases and they are inert. They do not react with anyone. Okay. Okay, so this was about the elements and their properties. Next, there are some small terminologies. Okay, what is electronic configuration? Electronic configuration is distribution of electrons in various shells. Okay, in an element there are lots of shells, and in that shells the distribution of electrons, like just I have shown you here about chlorine. So chlorine having nucleus in center, so it having K shell, L, M, and then N, O, P, Q, so on. So K shell must have 2 electrons, L shell must have 8 electrons, and shell must have 18 electrons, after that 32 electrons, and it increases as the shells increases, okay, around the nucleus of an atom. So it is the electronic configuration. Now there is electronegativity. Electronegativity, tendency to attract the electron towards itself, okay. Chlorine have a higher tendency to attract electron. That's why you have seen NaCl, the table salt you take, okay. NaCl, the salt, if you break down it will break down into positive, Na positive and Cl negative. Why? Because sodium have given its 1 electron to chlorine, okay. The extra electron of 281 and 287 of chlorine, this one of sodium, so it will give its 1 electron to chlorine. So sodium will get stabilized and chlorine will get stabilized at 288, okay. So the both are satisfied now, and we have got new compound NaCl, okay. Last there is allotropy. Allotropy means ability to exist in many forms, okay. If there is one element and it can exist in so many forms, for example carbon having so many forms, like diamond and graphite, okay. You have seen diamond and graphite, they both have very different properties. Diamond is very hard and graphite is very soft, okay, but they both are made up of carbon, okay. So carbon can be exist in so many forms. So diamond and the graphite are the allotropes of the carbon, okay. You can say them allotropes of the carbon, okay. So this is called allotropy. So this chapter is done, okay. In next session we will study about our next chapter, okay. Okay then, thank you.